Fighters are preparing for the Extreme Fighting Championship, and we caught up with Gareth "Soldier Boy" Mclellan at the Fighting Fit Malaysia gym in Joburg to learn more about this full contact sport.
Gareth, tell me a bit more about cage fighting. What is it all about?
Well, hand-to-hand combat's been around for centuries. You know, the processes have gone on to different levels. Became mainstream I'd say about 15 years ago with events like Pride in Japan, then moving across to the States with an organisation called the UFC, which has probably been the forerunner in MMA. They've really given it the exposure that it needed. South Africa, it was very underground for a large period of its existence. Only I would say really over the last 3 years has it really exploded, going close on maybe to a year and a half in Johannesburg with the UFC taking it to the next level.
At 84 kilograms, the 29-year-old Gareth is a contender for the middleweight championship title and is trained in kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. He's known as deadly in the cage, but a gentleman outside.
Now, how did you get involved in the sport?
I, originally started out playing top flight rugby. Had to work a lot on my fitness side. At that time he was the fitness instructor for the Sharks, but came from a very big MMA background. Done some training with him. He felt that I had the ability to compete in MMA, asked me if I'd like to, try out an amateur. Did my first amateur and, I was hooked.
Now, do you ever look back to your rugby days and feel that you miss it?
I'm a sportsman at heart, so, my biggest ambition was to play, obviously provincial and Springbok level for rugby. It didn't work out, sometimes those things don't happen. I love rugby to this day. I'm a massive supporter of rugby. I still live it. But this is what I do, I love MMA, it's my passion. I'm part of something that's going to be so much bigger.
Last year, EFC Africa practically sold out the massive arena at the Coca-Cola Dome, with more than 4,000 fans attending the fighting phenomenon, proving itself a mainstream sport.
Now tell us a bit more about your training.
It's not something we really discuss too much. Our training is very in-house and very closed. But it's a full week, it's 7 days. About 5 hours a day, and it just varies, different techniques, different aspects that we're working on, fitness and conditioning, and then obviously, sparring, that sort of thing.
Gareth's gym, the militia headquarters, is not a cozy place. No fancy machines and no wall of mirrors. Coach Richard Kwan values the art of mixed martial arts and he's results driven.
Now, in terms of supplementation, what is that one supplement that you would not come training without?
It's very important for me in terms of training. I take a pre-workout, which is an anabolic nitro. That helps me just be a little bit more alert, gets the mindset going, just get a little bit more energy, so that during my training periods I'm 100% focused and I'm competing at that top level, maximum output.
And what about meal replacements? Because it's very important with the type of training you do to get that balanced diet.
If you're not looking after the body and you're not giving it the nutrition that it needs, it starts to break down, it starts to fatigue certain aspects of muscles, so you're not running 100%, you're not creating the role that you want to create on fight nights.
Although some may consider it to be a brutal sport, MMA's roots can be traced back to ancient Greece, and fans hope to see it reinstated as the Olympic sport traditionally known as pankration.
Now, in your opinion, which type of fitness would you say is most important, cardiovascular or strength?
To compete at a top level, you have to be all-rounded. You've got to be able to have that ability to go for long periods. You also have to be able to have muscle endurance. Your body needs to be able to compete with your lungs and heart. You can't just have the cardio side and the muscles can't keep up. We put ourselves through a lot of punishment, so our body's got to be able to take that at the end of the day.
The Extreme Fighting Championship takes place on Thursday in Joburg. Remember, these blows are real. Do not try this at home. Rather tune in tomorrow as we meet another championship contender